What's good, people? Welcome to The Inner Voice, a brand new podcast where we talk about the silent battle we all face within, that psychological war which often goes unnoticed, but it shapes how we deal with pain, identity, and self-awareness. On here, we'll dive into raw and unfiltered conversations about overcoming real-life challenges, facing trauma head-on, bouncing back after setbacks, and reshaping your life, even if you've spent time behind bars. We'll also explore the ideas and skills needed for you to implement self-development, personal growth, or how to create a powerful and everlasting change in your own life. I'll be your host, Cam. Now, before we start bringing in guests from all walks of life, each with their own unique and powerful experiences, it only makes sense for you to get to know your host first. With that being said, this first episode will serve as an introduction. I'll be sharing the reasons why I started this podcast, what motivates it, and give you a quick overview of who I am and where I come from. That way, you'll get a sense of the kind of experiences and lessons I'll personally be bringing to the table. Now, whether you're battling some kind of trauma, stuck in bad habits, or you're just trying to figure out your place in the world, you're not alone. I know what it feels like to be lost, angry, stuck on the wrong path. So if you're looking for a way out, or you're into deep, meaningful conversations that shift your mindset and spark growth, stick around. Trust me, you're exactly where you need to be. Thank you for tuning in today. And again, welcome to The Inner Voice. Why did I start this podcast? Well, there are multiple reasons as to why, but to keep it simple for the sake of this introduction, I'll list a couple for now. I'm 32 years old, from Manchester, living what most people would call a normal working life. But it wasn't always like that. In fact, if you knew me years ago, during my teenage years, you'd never believe that I'd be sat here today, behind a mic, talking to you about change, growth, and developing a strong and healthy mindset. Back in 2010, I lived a completely different life. However, there was a turning point, and that for me came when I served time in jail. It was my first and last time, God willing, of serving a custodial sentence. Approximately 5 years after I was sentenced, something happened that changed everything for me. I took part in something called the Restorative Justice Program, where I met one of my victims from my offence. That moment and that meeting shifted everything I thought I knew about myself and my life, without realising at the time, but that interaction started to open doors for me, where I found myself publicly speaking, first at youth clubs, then at the Manchester University, and later on moving to bigger stages like the BBC One Show, BBC Radio 4, NPR Radio, the National Arts and Alliance Conference, and the CFT Conference in Birmingham. I remember how at first people were interested simply in the headline, "Attacker meets victim." And it used to be uncomfortable when most of the audience was specifically asking questions about the offence and what happened during that period, instead of focusing on the transformation. But we can save all those little details for another episode, if you're interested. Anyway, over time, I noticed how the focus changed. People became less interested in the crime and the incident, and they started asking more questions about the transformation, how I changed, and why I changed. And that's when I realized something powerful. People don't just want to hear stories. They want to learn how to rewrite their own. So reason number one for why I started this podcast, I want to share my journey, my lessons, and my mistakes, to show that no matter how far you've fallen, You can change your life. There is always hope. Reason number 2. I see too many young people growing up without emotional intelligence, acting on impulse, getting caught up in cycles that lead to regret. I don't want to see that. I don't want that for them. Hence the reason why on this platform, I want to make a difference, to teach change, to bring hope, and to help parents, mentors, and guardians understand what's really going on inside the mind of young people today. And reason number 3, I believe in self-development. I believe change is inevitable. And I believe that we all carry things that hold us back. Our fears, our traumas, our inner voice. So here, I want to challenge my perception and yours. I want us to face our demons and grow stronger from them. Because the stronger we become, the easier it gets to move forward. So what motivates this podcast? Number 1, I've always been drawn to deep, meaningful conversations. I'm not good with small talk, probably why I don't have many friends. Personally, I like talking about things that matter, things that make us think differently, see differently, and feel differently. See, it's not easy to open up to anyone, but when you've got the right listener, someone who asks the right questions and genuinely wants to understand, that's when you can talk freely. And that's exactly what I want this space to be. A place where people feel comfortable enough to open up and really explore what's going on inside their own heads. Number 2, I'm a 90s kid. Growing up for me, men's mental health wasn't something anyone talked about. If you were a lad going through trauma, you kept it quiet and to yourself. The support was either not there, or if you tried to speak about things, conversations got a little bit too awkward. So it was always best keeping things to yourself. On the Inner Voice, I'm trying to change that narrative. I want to have unfiltered conversations, honest and open, and without the fear of judgment. We'll touch on topics which will bruise people's egos. However, we'll unpack them intelligently and with purpose, always looking for the lesson to learn. And finally, number 3, what really drives me is wanting to be the role model that I never had growing up. I grew up looking up to the wrong type of people, and it cost me years of my life. Now, I want to give something back, not perfection, but perspective. A version of leadership that's real, vulnerable, and human. Where do I see this podcast going in the future? It's a good question. Well, in the future, I see the Inner Voice becoming a space for transformation, not just for me, but for everyone. I want to bring in guests who have been through all kinds of journeys, people who have fallen, rebuilt, and grown, people who can teach us about having a strong mindset, resilience, and how to heal. I also see this podcast turning into a community, one that inspires change, challenges the way we think, and reminds us that no matter how dark it gets, there's always a way forward. Because at the end of the day, the loudest battles that we fight are the silent ones, inside our own minds. And that's what the Inner Voice is here for. So if you're interested in taking part, or you know someone who's got a powerful story to tell, something real, something that can inspire, please get in touch. My socials will all be linked in the description below. And for the next episode, if there's a specific topic you'd like me to talk about, or a chapter from my younger days you want me to open up on, drop it in the comments. I'll pick one at random, and if there aren't any, I'll choose a topic myself. Thanks for tuning in today. If you haven't already, please subscribe, follow, like, share, all that good stuff. Just show a bit of love and support. Until next time, peace out.